Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Marissa Lawton, and today we're going to be talking about something that is a continuation of what we talked about last week, and that is more on blogging. Last week we talked a little bit about my favorite places that you are often overlooking when it comes to finding topics for your blog. Today we're going to talk about how to organize those topics into cohesive thoughts and the 5 best types of blog posts that work for a therapy practice. So stay tuned and we'll jump right in. Hey everybody, welcome back. So often the next question that happens after what do I even write about is, well, how do I get my points across? And how do I make sure that what I have to say and the expertise that I have to share turns into a marketing message? So today, that's what we're going to talk about. I want to share my 5 favorite types of blog posts that work really, really well for a therapy practice. And I've also got a 6th bonus type of post that I'm going to share with you guys inside the Online Marketing with Empathy Facebook group. So if you want to hear a bonus type of post, make sure that you join us in there. So we've talked about how to come up with blog post topics, right? You can check in your notes, you can check out your treatment plans, you can check out your intake paperwork, and you can also check out what clients are saying online. You can take a program that you offer, maybe a workshop or a training, and reverse engineer it and pull topics out of there that you can write blog posts on. So coming up with topics is not always the hardest part. Sometimes when you have a topic about what you want to write about, the hardest part is turning it into a full-fledged article. These are 2,000-word articles, guys, so that they maximize your potential for SEO and so that they actually act as marketing tools for you. So how do we go from topic to article? And I think what sometimes is missing in there is the framework or the template. And so I want to talk to you guys about my 5 favorite types of posts, a few features of what they're like, what they include, what they don't, and maybe that can help you start to organize your thoughts. Because once you have this idea and this framework, it can be easier to flush out a full article, okay? So the first type of blog post that works really, really well for therapy practices is what I call an education blog post. Okay, so an education blog post, this is what I'm doing right now. 5 types of blog posts that work for therapy practice. For you, this might look like 3 ways to carve out time for self-care. Or it might look like 5 signs that you're dealing with depression. So in these posts, you're teaching something, and you're teaching a broad category of things. So there are a few outcomes that people can try, or a few goals that people can realize, or a few insights that people can gain from your post. So that's why it's the 5 types of things, the 3 types of things, the 3 reasons, the 5 truths, 6 tips for, okay? So you're kind of providing an array here. What's great about these posts is it allows you to kind of show your expertise in a broad way, okay? What else is great about these types of posts is that they give clients an idea of something to grab onto and a way to see how their issue or their concern is affecting them in a wide range of their lives, okay? Another type of post that's very, very similar is a how-to post. So a how-to post is also educational in the sense that it is teaching the client how to do something. The difference, though, is you are diving deep into one type of topic. So whereas an education post is a wide array of things, a how-to post is a deep dive, okay? So how to overcome depression, that's a really wide topic. But you might say step 1, step 2, step 3. So think of that, how that is different than an education post. An education post is the 5 reasons, and a how-to post is the 5 steps of one reason or one technique, okay? So a really great example of this is how to use grounding exercises to calm your anxiety. And so for you, You might talk about what is anxiety, what does life look like with anxiety, what can life look like after you overcome your anxiety, and here's how to do that. Step 1, close your eyes. Step 2, put your feet on the floor. Step 3, focus on your breathing. Whereas an educational post might be 5 things to try for your anxiety, and grounding techniques might be one of those things. Okay, so I hope that gives you a different, helps you see the difference between what an educational post is and what a how-to post is. My next post that I love to share is the top 10 post. Now this is really great. I call this gateway content. So just like a gateway drug, right? Top 10 posts are often your lightest posts. They don't dive deep into something. They don't necessarily always talk about heavy topics or get really kind of emotionally heavy. What they do is they are a wide net to cast a lot of people and catch them and bring them back to your website. Then from there, within your top 10 posts, you can link to some of these more heavy posts that will start to weed out your ideal clients from your non-ideal clients. So a top 10 post, going back to a clinician who sees anxious clients, top 10 post might be my top 10 favorite meditation apps. Okay, and you can just write a little bit about what is anxiety, what does life look like with anxiety, what can life look like after anxiety, and then you can say, here are top my favorite apps that you can use to work on your mindfulness in 5 minutes or less, or something like that. And then you just list out the top 10 posts or top 10 apps. I would be careful though, and not necessarily link outside your website. Some people do that where they link to the app or to the website of the tool or resource they're recommending. That's kind of a gray area, because when you're sending people away from your website, you're losing that traffic, right? So if you want to refer out, always have that tab open in a new window, so that your website is still open in the original window, okay? And then they can come back. A better technique to try is to maybe link to another article. Maybe you write an article about how you use that particular app, or you write another article about mindfulness or something like that. Link to your own articles, okay? So that's just a pro tip right there. A fourth type of blog post that I think is really, really powerful, especially as a marketing asset, but most clinicians are uncomfortable with, is the case study post. So a case study post is basically like what kind of the marketing world would call a before and after. So a web designer might show pictures, screenshots of somebody's website that they did what it looked like before they worked with them. They might discuss the process of web design, and then they might show pictures of the client's website after. So where this gets tricky for us is we cannot obviously reveal our clients and we cannot show, like a weight loss before picture and a weight loss after picture. But what we can do is we can describe it in ways that leaves out any identifying information. You can even write a disclaimer at the top of the case study post that says this case study is a fictional or a fictitious story that represents a typical outcome of a client. So then they know that you're not talking about a legitimate client that's on your case right now or that you just terminated, but it can still show them the results, because clients want transparency. They want to picture themselves seeing the same type of results. They want to picture themselves working with you. So a case study is a really great way to do that. So what you can do is say that your client is a first responder and you're working with them on PTSD. You can say made up client. You can use their name with an asterisk and say Mitch, and then all names have been changed. Whatever you want to do that makes you feel comfortable. Say client M. You could say male client. Think of it like how when you write your notes, you write like client or whatever. Mitch came to me because he had been a paramedic for 13 years, and after one horrific car accident, he just had enough, and all 13 years of the stuff that had seen were just kept haunting him or whatever. Here's what we did in session. Here's how long we saw each other, and here were his results. Okay, Again, removing any identifying information, but case studies can be very, very powerful marketing tools. It can really convince clients that it's time to schedule with you. Okay? And another 5th post that I like to share is called an ultimate guide. This is really great if you do something that a lot of clients haven't heard of, like EMDR or DBT or modalities it can be used for. It can also be used for, what else? It can also be used for diagnoses. It can also be used for problems like, say somebody has a special needs kid and they can't get their kid to sleep at night. The ultimate guide to sleep patterns for special needs kids. Okay, so it doesn't have to only be modality. That's just one of the easiest ones to start with this format. And what an ultimate guide does is it's like a how-to post in the sense that it dives really, really deep, but it dives deep to teach kind of the overall. So who is a good fit for this modality? Who's not a good fit for this modality? Who benefits? What do you do? What are the steps of it? So it's an ultimate guide almost puts all of the other types of blog posts into one. What results can I expect from this type of therapy? What are the next steps after this type of therapy? All of that stuff goes into an ultimate guide post. Okay, so the best thing about writing these types of posts is that it's really easy to get to the word count that Google and other search engines favor. It's also really easy to write these kinds of posts in a way that is evergreen. And I have another video on evergreen content that I will link to, so you guys can go back and watch that one. But what evergreen content is something that will work for your practice for years to come. You can create an evergreen blog post, evergreen podcast, evergreen video now, and it will still bring you clients 5 years from now. Okay, so sticking with this format helps you flesh out a full blog post, helps you reach those word counts, helps you educate, helps you give clients the things they need to make sure that they want to book with you, and also make sure that these blog posts will stand the test of time. Now, I promised you that I had a bonus tip inside the Online Marketing with Empathy Facebook group. So if you want to know an even more detailed type of post that you can write, and even a more empathetic type of blog post that you can write, make sure you join us inside the group, and I'll be sharing all about that this week. Thanks, guys.